In May 1943, the North Atlantic roiled under leaden skies a crucible where Allied convoys battled to sustain Britain's war machine. The United States Navy, Royal Navy, and Royal Canadian Navy shepherded merchant ships through frigid seas facing Germany's U-boat wolfpacks. Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, leading the Kriegsmarine's submarine force, sought to choke this vital supply line. Convoys bore food, fuel, and munitions. Their destruction spelled ruin for Britain's factories and citizens. By spring, Allied losses surged. Over 100 merchant ships sunk in March and April per naval logs. Yet a shift emerged. New tools, shipborne sonar, centimetric radar, high-frequency direction finding began to align. The United States Navy's 10th Fleet formed on 20th May 1943 Unified Anti-Submarine Operations. A key metric shaped the fight. Sonar detection reached 1,000 yards under ideal conditions. Since 1939, the Battle of the Atlantic had ground on, but 1943 marked a pivot. U-boats once surfaced at night, unseen by older radar-stalking convoys with ease. Escorts floundered in response. Now, technology and tactics meshed. Destroyer escorts like the Buckley-class wielded sonar to track a submerged U-boat's echo. Long-range aircraft, such as the B-24 Liberator, patrolled with 10-centimeter radar spotting surfaced submarines in darkness. High-frequency direction finding pinpointed U-boat radio signals exposing their positions. Paired with escort carriers like the Bogue class, these formed a tightening net. Convoy ONS-5, from 29th April to 6th May, tested this system. Despite losing 13 merchant ships, escorts sank 5 U-boats, showing coordinated sensors could break Wolfpack tactics. Aboard a Bogue-class carrier, TBF Avenger crews readied under faint deck lights. Radar operators scanned for surfaced U-boats, their sets humming with 10-centimeter waves. A contact sparked. Action pilots launched, guided by radar to drop flares or depth charges. If the submarine submerged, sonar-equipped destroyers took over. The Cold Truth sonar held contact at 1,000 yards in calm seas. German commanders, blind to the tightening noose, pressed their assaults. Dönitz's wolfpacks, once ambush predators, now faced detection before striking. The stage was set for a stark reversal, as Allied systems locked in and U-boat losses mounted. The North Atlantic's grey expanse churned under storm-heavy skies in late April 1943, a merciless arena where convoy ONS-5 fought for survival. 42 merchant ships laden with grain, oil, and munitions ploughed westward toward North America, their holds vital to Britain's war effort. Escorted by Royal Navy destroyers, Royal Canadian Navy corvettes, and the escort carrier HMS Biter, the convoy faced a gauntlet of 43 U-boats per Kriegsmarine deployment records. Grand Admiral Karl Dönitz, architect of Germany's submarine campaign, had massed his wolfpacks to deliver a crippling strike. His orders were clear: sever the Allied supply line, starve Britain's factories, and stall the invasion build-up. The battle, spanning 29th April to 6th May, became the fulcrum of 1943's Atlantic struggle. Allied escorts, though outnumbered, wielded a new arsenal: shipborne sonar, 10-centimeter radar, and high-frequency direction finding. These tools, paired with evolving tactics, began to unravel the U-boat advantage. A defining metric held firm: sonar detection reached 1,000 yards under optimal sea conditions. As ONS-5 battled gales and fog, U-boats struck with precision, exploiting the cover of night. Surfaced submarines invisible to older radar closed within torpedo range, their commanders coordinating via radio to overwhelm escorts. Yet the Allied response marked a shift. High-frequency direction finding stations scattered across ships, like HMS Duncan, intercepted U-boat transmissions, plotting positions within 10 miles of accuracy. Destroyers such as HMS Vidette surged toward these fixes, their sonar systems pinging for submerged targets. When a U-boat surfaced to recharge batteries or adjust position, B-24 Liberator aircraft, equipped with 10-centimeter radar, swept in from the darkness. Their radar beams, unlike earlier sets, detected small periscopes or conning towers at ranges up to 10 miles in clear conditions. Flares dropped from above lit the sea, exposing the submarine's silhouette. The cold reality of this fight, escorts held sonar contact at 1,000 yards in calm waters, guiding precise attacks. The battle's rhythm shifted on 4th May as U-boat commanders sensed their tactics faltering. German radio logs later captured by Allied intelligence revealed their growing alarm. Enemy radar tracks us before we close. Aircraft force dives. Escorts working in relays disrupted Wolfpack formations. HMS Oribe, a destroyer, used sonar to track U-631 after a radar-directed air attack forced it to submerge. The destroyer's crew fired Hedgehog mortars, 24 contact fuse charges launched forward, allowing continuous sonar tracking during the attack run. The weapon, unlike depth charges, did not blind the sonar with water disturbance. U-631 sank after a direct hit, one of 5 U-boats destroyed during the convoy's passage per Allied after-action reports. Though 13 merchant ships went down, 29 reached port, a testament to the escort's tenacity. This outcome signaled a fracture in Donitz's strategy. Wolfpacks built for massed ambushes could not withstand coordinated sensors and relentless counterattacks. Aboard HMS Biter, the sole escort carrier TBF Avenger crews worked under strain, their aircraft prepped in the pre-dawn chill. Radar operators, peering at glowing screens, spotted faint traces. U-boats running surfaced to charge batteries or reposition for attack. A contact triggered immediate action. Pilots climbed into cockpits, engines roaring as they launched into the night. Guided by 10-centimeter radar, they dropped flares to illuminate targets or depth charges to force a dive. When a U-boat submerged destroyer, escorts like HMS Sunflower closed in their sonar teams, calling range and bearing. The bridge ordered Hedgehog salvos or depth charge patterns. The crew braced for detonation. Air and surface teams rotated seamlessly, maintaining pressure on the submarine until oil slicks or debris confirmed a kill or the contact faded into the deep. This relay radar to flares, air to surface, sonar to weapons, kept U-boats on the defensive, unable to regroup or execute their planned assaults. The battle's intensity peaked mid-convoy as Wolfpacks tried to exploit a storm that scattered ONS-5's formation. Yet Allied escorts adapted. High-frequency direction finding provided early warnings, allowing destroyers to intercept U-boats before they could mass. B-24. Liberators flying from Iceland or Newfoundland patrolled with radar, their endurance stretching 1,200 miles at cruising speed. These aircraft, paired with the carrier's Avengers, ensured no U-boat could linger on the surface undetected. When a submarine dove, sonar-equipped corvettes and destroyers took over their pings, echoing through steel hulls. The integration of these systems, HF, DF, for positioning, radar for surface detection, sonar for submerged pursuit, created a lethal cycle. By 6th May, the Wolfpack's cohesion broke. U-boat commanders, facing mounting losses and disrupted attacks, withdrew their radio silence, a grudging admission of defeat. The significance of ONS-5 lay in its proof of concept. Allied escorts, though battered, kept the convoy intact, delivering most of its cargo. The battle exposed the U-boat arm's vulnerability to coordinated sensors and tactics. Donitz's Wolfpacks, designed to overwhelm through numbers and stealth, could no longer rely on night or weather for cover. The 10-centimeter radar detecting at 10 miles stripped away their surface advantage. Sonar holding contacts at 1,000 yards ensured no escape underwater. Hedgehog mortars and refined depth charge settings converted detections into kills. The convoy's survival, despite heavy losses, marked a tactical pivot. It showed that Allied systems, when synchronized, could neutralize the Wolfpack threat, setting the stage for May's broader collapse. As the battered merchant ships docked, the Atlantic's balance tilted decisively toward the Allies. In May 1943, the North Atlantic's vast, fog-shrouded expanse turned from sanctuary to snare for Germany's U-boats. Allied technology, sonar, 10-centimeter radar, and sonobuoys closed the gaps where submarines once evaded pursuit. The United States Navy's 10th Fleet, activated on 20th May, became the nerve center, fusing these tools with intelligence and operational planning. Destroyer escorts like the Evarts class carried advanced sonar systems, detecting submerged U-boats at 1,000 yards under calm sea conditions. Long-range aircraft, such as the PBY Catalina, extended patrols with sonar buoys, acoustic buoys, dropped to detect submerged engines. These systems, paired with Hedgehog mortars and improved depth charge settings, raised the probability of detection and destruction. A second metric emerged to define the Hunt 10-centimeter radar-spotted surfaced U-boats at 10 miles in clear weather. Aboard a PBY Catalina, aircrews endured long patrols, their eyes scanning radar screens through the drone of engines. The 10-centimeter set a leap over earlier models, picked up small targets, periscopes, or conning towers at ranges older systems missed. When a blip appeared, signaling a surfaced U-boat charging batteries, pilots adjusted course, dropping flares to light the target or depth charges to force a dive. Sonar buoys, deployed in grid patterns, extended the aircraft's reach, relaying engine noise from submerged submarines. The cold truth of this technology, sonar buoys detected acoustic signatures at 2 miles in quiet seas. This data guided destroyer escorts like USS Mackenzie to the target. Sonar operators hunched in dimly lit compartments tracked the U-boat's echo, while the bridge ordered Hedgehog salvos, 24 forward-thrown charges that exploded on contact, preserving sonar lock through the attack. German commanders aboard boats like U-456 felt the noose tighten. Captured Kriegsmarine logs later revealed their dismay. Enemy aircraft find us at night. Sonar tracks our every dive. By mid-May, U-boat losses climbed steeply, 41 submarines sunk per Allied naval records. Donitz's strategy, built on surfaced night attacks, crumbled as 10-centimeter radar pierced the dark. When U-boats dove to escape, sonar buoys and sonar pinned their position, guiding destroyers to deliver precise strikes. Hedgehog mortars, unlike depth charges, allowed continuous tracking, increasing hit rates. This relentless cycle, radar detection, air attack, sonar pursuit, and lethal strikes, eroded the U-boat arm's confidence. The assumption of stealth central to their campaign collapsed under the weight of Allied innovation. The 10th Fleet's role proved pivotal, integrating intelligence from decrypted Enigma messages with high-frequency direction-finding plots. These fixes, accurate to 10 miles, directed escort carriers like USS Bogue to U-boat transit lanes. TBF Avenger aircraft launched from their decks, their 10-centimeter radar sweeping for surfaced submarines. When a U-boat dove, sonar buoys dropped by aircraft relayed its position, cueing destroyers to close in. Sonar teams, working in tandem with air reports, maintained contact at 1,000 yards, guiding Hedgehog or depth charge attacks. This synergy, air-to-surface radar to sonar intelligence to action, transformed the Atlantic into a hunter's field. By late May, Donitz, facing unsustainable losses, ordered most U-boats to withdraw from the North Atlantic per his own directives. The Allied convoy system, though scarred, stood unbroken. The technological edge extended beyond detection. Improved depth charge settings, calibrated for deeper detonations, countered U-boats' evasive dives. Sonar buoys dropped in patterns created an acoustic net, their signals relayed to aircraft or ships via radio. This allowed patrols to cover wider areas, stretching the Allies' reach across thousands of square miles. Destroyer escorts, equipped with Hedgehog, converted sonar contacts into kills with greater efficiency. The system's strength lay in its integration. No single tool won the battle, but their combination overwhelmed the enemy. U-boat commanders, once masters of evasion, found no refuge, neither surface nor depth offered safety. As May ended, the Kriegsmarine's offensive stalled, its boats retreating to safer waters, leaving the Atlantic lifeline secure. Through summer 1943, the North Atlantic became a relentless proving ground for United States Navy hunter-killer groups centered on escort carriers, like USS Card. These task forces, blending destroyers, aircraft, and intelligence, pursued U-boats in their transit lanes, far from convoy routes. The 10th Fleet, fully operational by 20th May in Washington, orchestrated the campaign, merging Enigma decrypts high-frequency direction, finding and scientific analysis into a cohesive strategy. Destroyer escorts, such as the Cannon-class, carried sonar systems detecting submerged U-boats at 1,000 yards under calm sea conditions. Aircraft like the TBF Avenger, launched from carriers, scanned with 10-centimeter radar spotting surfaced submarines at 10 miles in clear weather. This integrated system radar, sonar, and precise weapons ensured U-boats faced unyielding pressure across vast ocean stretches. Aboard USS Card, aircrews readied Avengers under dawn's faint glow, arming them with depth charges and flares. Radar operators hunched over screens in cockpit shadows detected U-boats running surface to cross thousands of miles. A contact sparked immediate action. Pilots dove, dropping flares to expose the target or depth charges to force a dive. When the submarine-submerged destroyers like USS Eldridge surged forward, their sonar pinging steadily. The cold reality Hedgehog mortars fired 24 charges in a single salvo, maintaining sonar contact through the attack. This seamless relay aircraft detection sonar tracking forward-thrown weapons kept U-boats pinned, unable to surface or maneuver. By July, hunter-killer groups sank 16 U-boats in transit zones per naval records, crippling Germany's ability to redeploy its submarine fleet. German commanders aboard boats like U-536 confronted a grim reality. Captured Kriegsmarine logs later revealed their frustration. Allied planes and ships hunt us relentlessly. Night offers no cover. The 10-centimeter radar, detecting at 10 miles, stripped away their surface stealth, while sonar locked onto dives at 1,000 yards. Grand Admiral Karl Donitz's Wolfpacks, once a synchronized threat, fragmented under this onslaught. The 10th Fleet's intelligence, drawn from broken Enigma codes, predicted U-boat routes guiding hunter-killer groups to intercept. Escort carriers carrying up to 20 aircraft extended patrols across 1,200 miles round trip. This proactive strategy, hunting submarines before they neared convoys, shifted the war's momentum, forcing Donitz to halt North Atlantic offensive operations by August per his own directives. The hunter-killer groups operated with mechanical precision. A mission began with a high-frequency direction-finding fix, pinpointing a U-boat's radio signal within 10 miles. Avengers launched from carriers, their radar sweeping for surfaced targets. If spotted flares or depth charges forced a dive, and sonobuoys dropped in patterns, relayed engine noise to guide destroyers. Sonar teams working in cramped compartments tracked the target's echo-calling range and bearing to the bridge. Hedgehog salvos or depth charges followed crews scanning for oil slicks or debris as proof of a kill. This cycle, repeated across transit lanes, eroded the U-boat arm's strength. By September, convoy attacks plummeted. Fewer than 10 merchant ships sunk compared to over 100 in March per Allied logs. The Atlantic lifeline, once imperiled, now flowed with growing assurance. By late 1943, the Allied anti-submarine campaign honed its edge as technology and tactics evolved to counter U-boat adaptations. The 10th Fleet, now a hub of operational and scientific expertise, drove relentless improvements. Destroyer escorts like the Buckley class upgraded their sonar systems, maintaining detection at 1,000 yards, even in rough seas. Patrol aircraft, such as the PBY Catalina, carried enhanced 10-centimeter radar spotting surfaced U-boats at 10 miles, despite fog or cloud cover. Sonobuoys, refined for greater sensitivity, extended acoustic detection to 2 miles in calm waters. These tools, paired with Hedgehog mortars and recalibrated depth charges, formed a tightening net. The key metric, endured radar range, held steady at 10 miles under optimal conditions. Aboard a PBY, Catalina aircrews flew grueling patrols, their radar screens cutting through Atlantic mists. A surfaced U-boat charging batteries appeared as a faint blip, triggering a dive toward the target. Pilots dropped sonobuoys in precise grids, their signals relaying engine hums to guide destroyers. When a submarine dove, escorts like USS Bori closed in, sonar operators tracking the echo through churning seas. The cold truth depth charges set for 300 feet countered deep evasions. Hedgehog mortars firing 24. Contact fuse charges allowed continuous sonar tracking, boosting hit rates. This air-surface synergy overwhelmed U-boats, denying them time to regroup or counterattack. By October, Allied forces sank 25 U-boats per naval records as the Kriegsmarine struggled to adapt. German commanders aboard boats like U-221 faced mounting desperation. Intercepted radio messages revealed their plight. Enemy sensors find us everywhere. Dives bring only temporary escape. The Allies' technological leap, 10-centimeter radar sonobuoys and sonar, left no refuge. Donitz attempted countermeasures, equipping U-boats with radar detectors, but these proved unreliable against advanced Allied sets. The 10th Fleet's intelligence, bolstered by Enigma decrypts, anticipated these moves, directing hunter-killer groups to exploit weaknesses. Escort carriers like USS Block Island launched TBF Avengers their patrols, covering 1,200 miles, ensuring U-boats faced constant aerial threats. This integration of refined tools and tactics rendered the U-boat arm's stealth tactics obsolete as losses continued to climb. The 10th Fleet's scientific branch, working with engineers, pushed incremental gains. Sonar transducers recalibrated for clarity, improved detection in turbulent waters. Sonobuoys now lighter and more durable, extended patrol aircraft's reach. Depth charge patterns adjusted for deeper detonations countered U-boats diving beyond 250 feet. These refinements, though technical, had dramatic impact. U-boats, once elusive predators, became predictable prey. Destroyer escorts, coordinating with aircraft, executed attacks with surgical precision, their sonar guiding hedgehog salvos. The Atlantic, once a vast hiding ground, shrank under the Allies' technological dominance, securing the convoy system for the war's next phase. By autumn 1943, Germany's U-boat campaign unraveled its once formidable wolf packs, reduced to scattered defensive operations. The 10th Fleet's hunter-killer groups, led by escort carriers like USS Core, patrolled relentlessly, striking U-boats in their transit lanes and bases. Sonar detecting at 1,000 yards in calm seas and 10-centimeter radar spotting targets at 10 miles left submarines exposed. Aircraft equipped with sonobuoys tracked submerged U-boats, while destroyers delivered hedgehog salvos or depth charges. The Allies' integrated system intelligence sensors and weapons dismantled the Kriegsmarine's strategy. A core metric persisted. Radar maintained detection at 10 miles in clear conditions, anchoring the Allied advantage. Aboard USS Core TBF, Avenger crews launched into twilight, their radar sweeping for U-boats attempting night transits. A contact triggered a rapid response, flares illuminated, the target or depth charges forced a dive. Sonobuoys dropped in patterns, relayed engine noise, guiding destroyers like USS Bromstein to the scene. Sonar operators tracking echoes directed precise attacks. The cold reality sonobuoys extended detection to 2 miles acoustically. This relentless cycle, air detection, sonar pursuit, and lethal strikes prevented U-boats from reaching convoy routes. By November, the Kriegsmarine lost 30 U-boats per Allied records, as hunter-killer groups dominated the Atlantic's key zones. German commanders aboard boats like U-605 faced a collapsing campaign. Captured logs revealed their hopelessness. Allied forces strike before we can attack. No route is safe. Donitz's strategy, reliant on stealth and massed assaults, failed against the Allies' technological and tactical superiority. Enigma decrypts feeding the 10th Fleet's plans predicted U-boat movements, while high-frequency direction finding fixed positions within 10 miles. Escort carriers deploying up to 20 aircraft patrolled 1,200 miles, ensuring no U-boat could surface undetected. By December, Donitz shifted surviving boats to secondary theaters, conceding the North Atlantic per Kriegsmarine orders. The Allied system's strength lay in its adaptability. Engineers refined sonar for rough seas, maintaining 1,000 yards of detection. Radar operators trained to distinguish U-boat signatures from sea clutter improved accuracy. Depth charges recalibrated for deeper detonations countered evasive tactics. These advances, paired with hunter-killer patrols, ensured U-boats faced constant attrition. Convoy losses dwindled fewer than 5. Merchant ships sunk in December per naval logs, securing the Atlantic lifeline for the Allied buildup. The U-boat threat, once existential, faded into a manageable challenge as the Kriegsmarine's offensive crumbled under relentless pressure. By early 1944, the North Atlantic stood as an impregnable Allied stronghold, its supply lines secured for the war's decisive campaigns. The United States Navy's hunter-killer groups, anchored by escort carriers like USS Guadalcanal, maintained unrelenting pressure on Germany's U-boat fleet. The 10th Fleet, now a master conductor of anti-submarine warfare, orchestrated operations from Washington, weaving together Enigma decrypts high-frequency direction finding and scientific advancements. Destroyer escorts such as the Rudero-class wielded sonar systems that tracked submerged U-boats at 1,000 yards in calm seas. Patrol aircraft, including TBF Avengers and PBY Catalinas, swept the ocean with 10-centimeter radar-detecting surfaced submarines at 10 miles under clear skies. Sonar buoys, Hedgehog mortars and recalibrated depth charges formed a lethal triad, ensuring detections became kills. This integrated system intelligence, sensors and weapons locked the Kriegsmarine into a defensive crouch, unable to disrupt the convoys, fueling Britain's war machine. The defining metric endured sonar held contacts at 1,000 yards, cementing Allied dominance. Aboard USS Guadalcanal, aircrews braved frigid dawns, prepping Avengers in the carrier's cramped hangar. Radar operators, peering through cockpit screens, scanned for U-boats running surface to recharge batteries or transit to patrol zones. A faint blip, often a conning tower at 10 miles, triggered immediate action. Pilots roared into the sky, guided by 10-centimeter radar to drop flares illuminating the target against the dark sea. If the U-boat dove, depth charges forced it deeper, while sonobuoys deployed in precise grids relayed engine noise to the aircraft. Destroyers like USS Chatelaine then closed in their sonar, pinging rhythmically. Operators hunched in dim compartments tracked the submarine's echo-calling range and bearing to the bridge. Hedgehog mortars fired 24 contact-fused charges, allowing continuous sonar tracking. The Cold Truth radar sustained detection at 10 miles in optimal conditions. This seamless cycle, air detection, sonar pursuit, and precise strikes, ensured U-boats faced relentless pursuit with no chance to regroup. German commanders aboard boats like U-550 confronted a campaign in collapse. Captured radio transmissions, later analyzed by the 10th Fleet, revealed their despair. Enemy sensors and ships strike before we can act. No route is safe. The Kriegsmarine's strategy, built on stealth and coordinated wolfpack attacks, lay in ruins. 10-centimeter radar stripped away night's cover, detecting surfaced U-boats at 10 miles. Sonar locking onto submerged targets at 1,000 yards denied escape below the waves. Dönitz's attempts to adapt equipping U-boats with radar detectors or snorkels proved inadequate. Detectors failed against advanced Allied radar, and snorkels allowing submerged battery charging slowed boats and exposed them to sonobuoy detection. By February 1944, hunter-killer groups sank 20 U-boats per naval records as the Kriegsmarine's operational strength dwindled to fewer than 100 active boats. The 10th Fleet's intelligence operations underpinned this victory. Decrypted Enigma messages, broken by Allied cryptographers, revealed U-boat patrol schedules and refueling points. High-frequency direction finding, or HF, DF fixed radio signals within 10 miles, guiding hunter-killer groups to intercept. Escort carriers like USS Guadalcanal deployed up to 20 aircraft, their patrols spanning 1,200 miles round-trip. These missions, often lasting 10 hours, covered vast swathes of the Atlantic, ensuring no U-boat could surface undetected. When a contact was made, the response was swift aircraft pinned the submarine with flares or depth charges, forcing a dive. Sonobuoys dropped in patterns, extended acoustic detection to 2 miles, relaying data to destroyers. Sonar teams then took over their pings, guiding Hedgehog salvos or depth charges set for 400 feet. This relentless sequence intelligence to detection air-to-surface sensors to weapons decimated U-boat formations before they could approach convoys. The technological edge, refined through 1943, reached its peak. Sonar transducers, recalibrated for clarity in turbulent seas, maintained 1,000 yards of detection, even in storms. 10-centimeter radar, now standard across patrol aircraft, filtered sea clutter, ensuring accuracy in fog or rain. Sonobuoys, lighter and more sensitive, detected submerged engines at 2 miles, their signals clear even in moderate swells. Hedgehog mortars, firing 24 charges in a tight pattern, converted sonar contacts into kills with unprecedented efficiency. Depth charges, adjusted for detonations at 400 feet, countered U-boats' deep diving tactics. These incremental improvements, driven by the 10th Fleet's scientific teams, transformed the Atlantic into a controlled battlespace. U-boats designed for evasion became predictable targets, their movements betrayed by radio signals, radar returns, or acoustic signatures. Convoy battles, once desperate struggles, grew rare and one-sided. In January 1944, fewer than 3 merchant ships sank to U-boat attacks compared to over 100 in March 1943 per Allied naval logs. The Atlantic lifeline, carrying food, fuel and arms, flowed uninterrupted, enabling the build-up for the invasion of Europe. Hunter-killer groups operating from bases in Iceland, Newfoundland and the Azores extended their reach, patrolling transit lanes and U-boat refueling zones. USS Guadalcanal's aircraft, flying 1,200 miles, disrupted German rendezvous points, sinking supply submarines critical to extended U-boat operations. Destroyer escorts like USS Frost executed precise attacks, their sonar guiding hedgehog salvos. The cold reality sonobuoys held acoustic contact at 2 miles, ensuring no submarine escaped the net. This dominance, built on technology and coordination, secured the Allied supply chain for D-Day. The Kriegsmarine, its U-boat arm, shattered, shifted to defensive operations. Donitz, facing losses of over 200 submarines in 1943, redeployed survivors to secondary theatres like the Mediterranean per his orders. Yet even there, Allied anti-submarine tactics followed. Patrol aircraft equipped with 10-centimeter radar scanned coastal waters, while destroyers used sonar to track submerged targets. The 10th Fleet's intelligence, leveraging HF, DF and Enigma, anticipated these moves, ensuring U-boats faced the same relentless pressure. By March 1944, the Kriegsmarine's submarine losses exceeded 300 since Black May per Allied estimates, with production unable to keep pace. The U-boat threat, once a spectre over the Atlantic, faded into a manageable nuisance, its strategic impact nullified. The human effort behind this victory matched the technological triumph. Aircrews enduring 12-hour flights in unheated cockpits maintained focus through fatigue and storms. Sonar operators working in cramped, noisy compartments tracked faint echoes for hours, their calls guiding life-or-death attacks. Destroyer crews, battered by Atlantic gales, stood ready to launch hedgehog salvos or depth charges at a moment's notice. The 10th Fleet's analysts, poring over Enigma decrypts and HFDF plots, worked sleepless nights to direct hunter-killer groups. This collective resolve, pilots, sailors, scientists, forged a system greater than its parts. Each radar blip, sonar ping, or intelligence report fed a machine that ground down the Kriegsmarine's ambitions. The Battle of the Atlantic, once a desperate struggle, became a testament to Allied innovation and tenacity. The U-boat arm, which sank over 600 ships in 1942, managed fewer than 50 in 1944 per naval records. The Atlantic lifeline, secured by sonar radar and relentless patrols, fueled the Allied armies massing for Normandy. The 10th Fleet's fusion of science, intelligence, and operations created an unassailable framework. Sonar, detecting at 1,000 yards, and radar spotting at 10 miles, stripped U-boats of stealth. Sonobuoy's hedgehog mortars and depth charges ensured detections became destructions. The Kriegsmarine, its offensive broken, never regained its former menace. The Allies, now poised for Europe's liberation, owed their momentum to this hard-won victory at sea.